so we are here today with the lovely Lauren, and we're going to be chatting about her journey to clear skin. So I'm just a really big advocate on giving people hope. It's just a common journey for people to have tried everything and just feel like something they have to deal with. Speak to the doctors, and eczema, there's no cure, just live life. There's so much of that talk. And yeah, a big part of it is keeping hope. And we're going to talk about Lauren's journey and some of her aha moments and the turning points in her skin. And then also that I always want to put my journey, which is different from other people's journey. So, she experienced as well that it is very individual and it is about listening to your body. So yeah, we'll dive into all of that. But Lauren, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to chat.
Thanks, Felicia. No problem.
Okay, so yeah, let's have a chat pre Love Your Skin program, and I'll just give a little background on your journey with your skin.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. So I really, I was diagnosed with, I suppose, dermatitis back 10 years ago, and yeah, it was about 10 years ago. So my skin only, I suppose, flared up when I was in my adulthood. I never had it as a child. And really at that point, I started with just dry skin on my eyelids and a little bit around my mouth and on my scalp. And that's where it kind of began. But then just about 3 years ago, I just had an explosion of eczema all over my body. And it went from, just being on your eyelids to completely all over my face, down my neck, onto my back, my stomach, my arms, my legs, like everywhere. It pretty much nearly covered most of me, which I was really confused at that point of why, what was going on. And particularly something that was odd happening was on my face, I would break out in like welts and hives, and I started realizing I was then, and I know you shared some of my photos when I was very red as a beetroot. So
Yep.
If people see those, that's when I was just at my, I think I was at the end of my tether, and I was finding I was reacting to products as well. So like I couldn't even wear makeup because I was finding it was setting me off. And I slowly started piecing a bit of the puzzle together, and I did a very restrictive elimination diet. That's where I kind of found I was reacting to salicylates, and that's what I found, some of salicylates was in makeup. And then when I for example, drank champagne and wine, and I would blow up on my eyes and things like that. So I know what was really difficult was when I couldn't even wear makeup. That was like, I think I had about 3 months I couldn't wear a thing because I was trying to find a product that would just suit my skin. And that was really difficult when you just can't, nothing you were eating, nothing you were putting on your skin could help you. And it was, I suppose back then, it really, my skin just consumed my life. Like that's probably the best way to put it is, and I know so many people being in your program as well, I think we probably all can relate that, you kind of get up every day. And I know with mine being on my face, you'd be checking for dry skin, you'd be moisturizing so much. And I also have never been someone that I suppose has struggled with self-esteem or anything like that. But I think having this, having it just explode on your body, it probably did maybe kick me for 6. And I think it's given me more anxiety and stress than I think I realized. And even since going into your program, Alicia, I think the best way to describe it is actually trauma. And you don't actually realize that that's what it's probably been. And because you think you just live every single day waking up, checking for, and even when I would be at work, you go and check your skin throughout the day, because I usually will break out in dryness or whatever it is. So it's interesting. And I think back then too, it would have just been frustration, like you're just completely frustrated, and you're it's impacting self-esteem because I was covering up as well. Like then when it expanded on my body, you'd want to wear longer sleeve shirts or whatever it was, that it just changes, I suppose, how it used to be. And when you think back to, because I had very normal skin prior to that, that it's like, what's happened? Like what's made me just, it was like, and it's like you say in your program, your engine light comes on, and that's exactly what I had. I just, when you're exploding over your body, you kind of go, what's happening? Something's not right. And it's not normal. You know, you're really sick. Like your body's telling you there's something not right. So yeah, I knew something had to change. And I tried many things, which we'll probably get into.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a big one because I was the same as you in terms of I want to survive day by day. So, I had that, oh, I just need to get on with it. Okay, what do I need to do to move forward? And you're just like in survival mode at that point because you don't have time to be like, oh, this is really hard for me right now because you're trying to deal with everything else in life. And everybody across the board that I've worked with and everybody that I speak to, there's stress and an emotional aspect to it. And sometimes you don't realize it later on. For me, it was, when I started talking about it on social media, I was like, oh, yeah, this was actually big for me. And then, and you realize that that level of anxiety is just your new baseline of normal. Just trying to get by. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think your program has really probably made me reflect on that too, because I don't think I really realized even how stressed or, even that anxiety you might have floating underneath that. Yeah, it really does make you reflect. So but no.
Okay, so just like you're saying, the self-confidence thing is a thing. So being a girl and having it all over your face, I had it all over my neck and my face too. It sucks. So what was that like for you, just in terms of how it was impacting your life?
Yeah, it definitely was difficult. And like I said, I suppose having it on your face, I'd try and cover it up with makeup when I wasn't reacting to makeup. And I mean, at the same time, being typical eczema, you'd get dry that you've got to, rip it off and reapply and rip it off and reapply, or you'd actually just want to stay home. Like I would find that I would probably avoid certain, say, situations or social gatherings or whatever it was that, or even on a weekend, you're probably like, oh, I could go to the beach or I could go to, I don't know, go and see a friend or something. But sometimes, if your skin was really awful, I just did not want to go out at all. And because the best thing too is just to leave it with no product on it, just to let it calm down. It was really difficult, particularly when I was getting kind of histamine kind of hive, because they would last for, I suppose too, I was going to say, my reactions too would last at least 5 to 7 days, like that I would be just red. And it's so that red flare cycle would be for at least a week. So it was just really, it was hell, because you knew as soon as you got a flare up, you'd be dealing with that for the whole week. And it just makes you feel really crap because, and I suppose too, like and on your post, you said too, I got married this year as well. So like, obviously I had a fiance at the time, and it does impact your relationship too. Like you don't you don't feel that great, you don't feel that beautiful that you want to interact with your spouse.
It affects your sex life for sure. I think everybody can relate to that. You're not feeling comfortable or confident.
So it does impact your self-confidence. And I think that's probably it in a nutshell. I probably avoided a lot of situations. Now I look back, I definitely would know when I retreated at home, particularly when you just had really crappy flare-ups, and you didn't want to have to face some people, which is
especially when you're a social human as well, right? And having eczema it's symbolic, hiding your rashes, under long sleeves and that sort of thing. But you are actually like emotionally and like just everything, you're just hiding from the world. And it can be a really isolating journey.
And I know leading up to my wedding as well, because I only started with you after my wedding, because I said I'll be way too stressed to actually focus on this. And I know like my wedding dress was completely open at the top. So I even had a lot of anxiety leading up, going, please don't break out. And because I was getting kind of halo rashes along my upper chest. So I mean, I was lucky I'd kind of pulled my skin down before the wedding, but I mean, I also had a great makeup artist, so you know, I was set. But yeah, it's all of that. You have playing as well when you've got big life events coming. Yeah, it makes it hard too. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Actually, if anybody's watching now or listening, drop a 1 below if you guys can relate. A lot of those will hit close to home. Okay, so can you go through some of the trial and error that you went through?
Yeah, sure. So the long history of trial and error, which I think so many people go through, is, you know, obviously first, you go to your GP, and something I remember quite vividly is one particular GP I went to. I went in and she just said to me that, you know, Lauren, you've got severe dermatitis. Something I remember quite vividly is I can hear myself in the background. Sorry.
Yeah. Is it still?
No, now you're good. I think that's good.
Okay.
Something I remember quite vividly is that I went in and she said, you know, you've got severe dermatitis, and you're just going to have to live with it, and food doesn't have food won't help, and etc. etc. And I remember that day walking out just wanting to burst into tears, because she didn't really know me from a bar of soap, and she had no idea the journey that you'd been through already, and the everyday life that you're living, that you're waking up and having to deal with dry skin everywhere. And I think all the emotion of it, it's that was probably a moment people that just don't understand the background, and the fact that it was so dismissive, and that the only answer was steroid cream. And I and over my years I've used a lot of steroid cream. I'm very thankful I obviously haven't had TSW like other people have experienced, but it's something I knew I wanted to limit as well, because I know the impact of it, you know, thinning your skin and everything. So I suppose, GP was definitely always just, here's a steroid cream. I went to a dermatologist. They were pretty much the same. They didn't really help me at all. It was steroid cream and maybe some light therapy they recommended, but I didn't really stick with that very long. I didn't find it helpful. And then changing your products, which I'd done years ago. Then I went to a naturopath many years ago, and because I'd looked into gut health, and I'm a big believer, and like I cook a lot of whole foods and everything at home. We live quite a healthy lifestyle, but no one had ever been able to, I suppose, give me the right supplements or follow me through the journey to actually see the results. And I probably didn't stick it out long enough with a naturopath too, because I was probably spending just so much money. And I just was like, no, I'm not seeing the results. This hasn't worked. And then what else did I go to? I went to Chinese acupuncture and herbs. I did that. And then I did an anti-candida diet when I came back from Bali about 3 years ago, which is when my symptoms really sparked. And prior to that, I had a really bad kidney infection, which we kind of put down to where my immune system might have been compromised, because I hit really bad antibiotics then. And when we went to Bali, I came back and had just rashes going everywhere. And I thought I had, a candida overgrowth or something. And that kind of helped, but didn't really. And then I went to the RPAH elimination diet. So it's the Royal Princess Alexandra Hospital one that's in Australia. And I worked with a dietitian on that, but I mean, she wasn't that helpful, but I kind of did it myself. And that's really where I then found I had all these intolerances to natural food chemicals, and salicylates being one of my biggest. But at the same time, I don't know, I was probably on a lot of groups with the elimination stuff that people were thinking they had to eat like that forever. And I'm like, this just isn't right, because I was then on a really restrictive diet when I came to Alicia and to you. And you're eating white potatoes and cabbage and beans and chicken, and like garlic is pretty much, and garlic and parsley were like the extent of your flavoring. Like it just, it just wasn't sitting right. And I'm like, I know I've got a tolerance level, but I should be able to build this back up. And it still wasn't quite the answer. Like I could, kind of control some of my reactions, but it still, didn't give me the answer. And it didn't sit well too in some of the fact that, it was saying, you can eat white sugar and this, that, and that. And I'm like, this just doesn't seem right. And so by the time I got to you, I had a really restrictive diet. And then what we also found is that I'd obviously had a lot of nutritional deficiencies from that too. And we've had to spend a lot of time really building that back up. So I went through everything. And look, I've tried every cream under the sun. I've changed everything. Like we have very much like even natural like cleaning products and all the products that I use on my skin are just so different now to what I did. But when you change all of like products and everything, and then environment has an impact, stress has an impact, and food has an impact. I never found the key for me out of those other things. So long journey, but you get there eventually.
Totally. And I think, let me know in the comments for the people watching which part of that you can resonate with, because it's literally classic eczema story. There's a point that haven't been well since. That was you in Bali, because you had it, but it was somewhat manageable. And then you always want to think, well, what happened at that point that I haven't been well since? Because I was able to eat food back then. And that's one thing that we're talking about. So you can heal your body, which is great. And you can get your body back. Sometimes it takes longer than others, but a big thing is that people keep thinking, eliminate. And this is a hard thing. I don't know, did your practitioners, did they specialize in eczema?
No, this is the thing as well, is I've never had someone just specifically around skin. And that's, I think, been the game changer working with you as well. So,
and that's where there's a level of frustration for people as well, because they're like, I've been to a naturopath, and I've been to a dietitian, I've been to the doctor, dermatologist, acupuncture. There's no hope. But like you had a gut feeling, because you're just like, this doesn't sit right. I should be able to eat food, and I'm doing the things, but my skin is still yelling out for help. And that's the biggest red flag. So that's just a nice piece for people, just to have hope that there's always something more that you can do. Okay, so one of the points in Lauren's journey that I love the most, that stuck out for me, is when we spoke, she had a lot going on. So, it's never the perfect time to be doing healing or to doing investing in yourself. It's actually quite scary to invest in yourself. So Lauren had two of the most beautiful and also biggest investments in life, a wedding and buying a new house. So when we first spoke, she had a lot going on, and then she spoke about budget. She came back and to the dollar, this is what I can afford. I'm like, this girl's going to be great. She's going to do well in life. She has a motivation, determination, just need to get this done. So what was kind of for you in that moment? What was going on for you? What was a turning point?
Yeah, there was a lot happening in life. 2021's been big for us. We were meant to get married last year in August, and then obviously COVID hit. So we were a postponement, and then finally, the wedding was coming up in April. Then we were also trying to buy our family home in Brisbane, and that it actually all happened at the same time. So we literally settled on our house the day before our wedding, and moved house the week after the wedding. And oh my gosh, there was just too much happening. And then my husband also has just got a new job as well, so we've just had lots of changes. Now we feel like we've done everything in a year, so we can settle now. But it was there was lots of, I suppose, big life changes and stresses that were coming into play this year. And I suppose it's just been juggling. I've known that my skin was still really bad, and I was at the point of frustration that I'd come across you, Alicia, and I was like, I just had the feeling. I was like, this just seems like it's the right avenue, and everything you'd shared on your page, and just even I think I watched other interviews of people that had been through the program, and I find, and when it was all about gut health as well, it just sits really well with me. And I was like, I know that's been the key, but no one's ever been able to, find the right balance. And so I knew I just had to make it work. And I went, righto, like, what can we do? And I just had a chat to you and said, yeah, I'm in it for the long haul. So let's work something out. So yeah, you've been able to support me, and I'm really appreciative of that. For such a big year that it's been.
Oh, pleasure. And it's been a pleasure working with you. You know, you show up to the calls every week and just like, okay, what are we doing? And, you know, even if like the good part about the fact that we have so much time together is that even if you're busy, you can just try and do one thing. And for you, when we first spoke, you weren't eating anything. And I'm like, okay, we need to build this like a nutrient support system, because there are so many nutrient deficiencies. Looked at blood work, and, you know, it's always about looking at the body as a whole. So for you, from long-term, and this is a picture with a lot of people, there's a couple different buckets of people, but long-term restrictive diets will create nutrient deficiencies. And then, so we went through the process, and it is hard because you have to get the body into a state to heal. Because I give that analogy that if there's a fire inside your body's busy putting that out, and it's not in a state to heal and repair the skin. You know, having like luscious hair and beautiful skin is not high on the priority list at that point. Can you give a little bit of a summary of your journey in the program throughout the months?
Definitely. And I think, like you said, we had to come in and start building that nutritional foundation again. And I think that's what really clicked for me. And I started to see the impact. And I really encourage people that are coming into your program just to trust the process, because this is what I really saw is it probably took, I reckon it nearly took those like 3 months into the program of us building back, so pulling in lots of those supplements to build that nutritional foundation again, because my body, you know, I'd been so restrictive for so long. It took that to build it in, to start the healing journey. But even I do remember like a month and a half in, I actually had already we'd cleared the bottom half of my body. And it's funny, I kind of go, it's like it went in reverse, because it always started, my skin started from the top down, and then it's like reversing and coming up. And so even like I saw results a month in, and that was a huge win for me though, because I went, oh my gosh, like I just remember even how itchy my legs became, and that was so weird for me in the past. And we'd already cleared kind of all of that up, and kind of half of my body, which was great. And then also, like, you know, the program during it, like the support's been amazing, between like one-on-one support calls to the group calls, and even hearing other people's journey as well. And you kind of learn things along the way of if tips and tricks are given to them too. And that's been a really great network, as well as the group. But then I think your content's been amazing, even with the actual like the dashboard with the program you can engage with, and then everything you share in our group as well, like around if it's around gut health, or if it's around even how you can manage your stress and anxiety. Like I know the one you did with, is it the psychologist?
Karen.
I can't remember her name.
Karen, she's a psychologist.
The one with Karen was just really good. And I think you're like with your program with the 5 pillars, I think that was a real game changer for me to realize, hey, it's not just been about food, like, and I think for me it was a bit of an epiphany for me about stress and mindset. And as much as I've known I need to, you know, hone in on that, I don't think I actually realized, I don't think I actually realized probably how stressed or maybe anxious I've been underneath. Like I think you get a new normal, and even with work, like I know stress is one of my triggers, and I think you kind of make it your new normal. And it's really made me reflect on how I start to embed some habits that can level that out, because it's not just about being, you know, physically active or having a great diet. It is about those other things and how we can actually regulate our nervous system and calm it to actually be in a state of healing, because that's what I think too. I'm like, oh wow, if I probably all over these years too, have I actually been at a state where my body can even heal? I mean, I haven't had the right tools there. So that's been really, I think, eye-opening for me. And then I think too, the supplements that we've been on as well, like just pulling in that nutritional foundation, I think that's been nearly like a huge key for me as well. Like I've really seen the benefit of, and just keeping going, like trusting the process. And now I've started to see the I suppose I'm reaping the benefits of that, and I'm seeing the healing journey continue, and that's been a really big one. And then I think too, just even during the program, I think you're like, because this is your specialty as well, and like you've gone through it as well, having someone I think that's lived and breathed it has been amazing. But I think your knowledge of going in and even doing the right tests, like to find, so we've actually been able to find what is the root cause or that underlying cause that no one's ever tested me for any of these things, or you might have done a few, but no one's ever looked further. And we were able to find so many underlying things from parasites to bacteria, to really low gut health, to I've got low copper, and then like E. coli as well. Like these are the things that I never knew my body was actually fighting, and it all made sense as well. And now we've been able to target all those things. So I know too that we're actually being really intentional about what we're treating, and it's not just a stab in the dark like it was when you go to Chinese acupuncture and herbs, and then you go to this, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'll do this, but they just they didn't have the hard data there to treat it in that specific way. And to me, like I can hand on my heart just go, yep, this is just the right thing to do, because we're able to actually see something of where it was and where it can go. And it's been really good in that sense. So no, I've really loved it. And it's a great toolkit that, I'll be able to carry for the rest of my life as well. Like now being able to, I suppose, have a more holistic understanding of how I can manage my health, and particularly now go forward managing my skin, and how I'll continue my health journey as well. So it's been great.
Yeah, thank you for summarizing that. So some important pieces there. Trusting the process. Your body's been in a state of dysfunction for 3 years. You had like very realistic expectations, and I also thought that the healing would have taken a bit longer for your picture as well. But you need to get your body in a state to heal. Otherwise, nothing else is going to work, right? You can do the anti-candida diet, you can do gut protocols, but if you're in a level of like high stress, we need to deal with that. If you have nutrient deficiencies, and it's hard when you're on a restrictive diet, and there's a good percentage of the people who are sensitive to foods, not everybody, but it is a slow process of reintroducing that. And a lot of it is working on the other stuff in the background, but doing that as quick as possible. So also doing it in a way, I'd always ask, okay, what are you missing and what are you craving? Like, let's try and work this in with, what has the most nutrients from my end and what do you want to eat? It has to be an enjoyable process. And it's also helpful, one thing that we spoke about every week on the calls was about, what are we doing to de-stress and finish the stress cycle? Because it's so easy. And I think you said that, I know I should, and like it's there, you should be doing all these things, and I can get caught in it too, but it's actually just, okay, you need to do it. And again, changing behavior patterns and seeing the impact. So on weeks that I don't do it, oh, how does that impact my skin? Okay, what happens on the weeks that I do it? Oh, it does impact it. And then you create this like new neural pathways in your head. If I do this, then this is what happens. So we monitor symptoms, and that's what we chat about every week. And getting in tune with your body in that way is a really important piece of the journey long term. Because in that way, you're like, okay, I have a stressful week coming up at work. So, okay, what do I need to do to ground myself before that? And can I notice that my skin's flaring a little bit? What am I going to do to prevent it from turning into a 3-year flare up, which is the whole aim of the game. Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. Because again, this is a journey. Like I don't want people to go through the journey and have to rely on me. It's about being able to heal yourself and have the tools to be able to workshop that on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was good. And what you said as well, you know, there's typically multiple root causes and contributing factors. So again, following other people's success stories isn't helpful. You need to be listening and being in tune with your body. And a turning point as well, we started doing some different gut protocols. Because you were on such a restrictive diet, like supplements for sure, right? But again, for people watching, supplements aren't always the answer. But if you've been in a chronic state, we need to kickstart the engine. Yeah. And doing the gut healing was really beneficial, and seeing the damage as well. So then you're like, oh, okay, this is why my body's been yelling out for help. I can see why. Like there's clear data here. Yeah.
And I think too, you helped encourage me and probably not get I think in the past I nearly got afraid of food being on an elimination diet, and it's like you said, we had to bring more food back in, and I started just bringing more back in, and I was like, okay, it's actually a good thing to expand it. But that it took a mind shift as well after you've been so restrictive and you've been like, no, this causes me to flare up. Like it's all you're thinking about is, if I eat this, what's going to happen? And we've been slowly been able to expand my diet, which has been great. So I feel like I'm eating a much more normal diet now, which is awesome.
And the food anxiety picture is a big thing. Not everybody has issues with food, but a lot of people do, because they've also been on these restrictive diets. And just naturally, if I eat this food and then I'm caught in a 2-week flare up, of course you're going to be like, this food's bad. And then it creates this bad cycle and a bad relationship with food. So a lot of what we're talking about is just reframing. Like, okay, so this food is actually, I'm eating this and it's actually going to help heal my skin. Because if you're thinking bad, that just creates another flare up in itself. And that's a stress response. So you have all of these, so many different loops, and then you itch, and then you're in the itch scratch cycle. So
that's it.
Yeah. Eczema is a beast when you're in the thick of it. Okay. So how are you feeling now? So, there's still healing to do. You're kind of 4 months, since we started. So now still stuff to do. You were saying confident by Christmas, like, going to be like in clear skin. So give me a little background on how it feels to kind of break free from these cycles.
No, definitely. I definitely am still on my healing journey, but I think I've seen a real shift in the past month. And something that I suppose has happened now is that I'm seeing, like, I'm not getting the flare-ups of, the red flare-ups, and then you go flared, then into your dry, and then you get clear skin, and that red flare-up is actually not really occurring really as often at all. I'm just getting some blotchiness, and then I'm actually quite clear. So I'm literally just going a bit blotchy, but I'm very clear compared to what I used to look like, which was like a beetroot. And what I'm finding is really that I've been able to even, I suppose I've had one-offs too, where I've gone and eaten something that's probably, say a bit higher in salicylates, and I'm really not reacting at all. Like I used to react with just, welts coming under my eyes would all blow up, and you'd feel like you'd been hit in the face. That's what I used to describe it to people. And I actually felt so fatigued because I had this huge histamine like release. It was just crazy. And I have not experienced those welts or that histamine reaction, I reckon, for the past like 3 months, 3.5 months. So since getting onto the program, I really have been able to control that. But now, even because I'm getting a lot more clear skin, it's completely different to what I was experiencing. Even the start of this year, let alone last year was probably even worse. But it's just a massive change. And I think for anyone going through skin issues like eczema, and if you're lucky enough to get hives as well, like I was, what a massive, that's such a huge difference for me, because I would then, like I said before, those reactions would last for a week, that you just feel like absolute crap. And now I'm just getting some blotchiness, but I'm pretty, like, I feel fine. And you know, I'm probably having a lot more non-makeup days, which is great. So so it's been, yeah, so seeing just that huge shift. And for me, because we've had to rebuild so much of my gut bacteria, and now we know too, we've still got to keep introducing more and keep targeting what's, you know, what's happening with me. That's why, yeah, my journey definitely isn't finished, but I can definitely see the change already and just where we're going. So it can only get better from here. And really, yeah, I've cleared a lot of my skin. It's mainly just still a little bit of my face and my neck and just a tiny bit of my chest as well. But most of the rest of my body is pretty much cleared, which when I started, that was not the case. So yeah, it's been a massive change. But yeah, and then what else? So let me think. Yeah, and I think even just control. So yeah, then obviously I'm bringing in a lot more food. I don't have the anxiety of going out and even having dinner. Like if I get invited out for dinner with some friends, I'm actually, you know, I make an exception to, I'll look at what's on the menu and try and do a good choice, but I'm not, I suppose, stressing about that I'm going to have this huge reaction as well. So I'm able to go out and actually engage in situations I probably was a bit petrified of eating certain things. Or like I'd go to parties and take my own food because I was like, I just can't eat what you've got. Like that was happening a lot. And so yeah, that's kind of, I've gotten a lot maybe more at ease about that, and I'm more flexible. So, you know, I try and definitely eat whole foods and the way that we've been doing on the program, you know, probably 95% of the time. But then when there's little occasions, it's yeah, it's okay as long as you make the right choices as well. So yeah, and then even I suppose like we're talking about before, managing anxiety and stress, and I'm trying to. It's still a place that I'm needing to keeping on working on, is introducing those habits. And you know, it's even things like at nighttime trying to meditate or you know, do some stretching before bed and turn the TV off before, you know, and making sure that you're trying to wind down. And it's something, yeah, I continually have to be cognizant of and put into practice. So that's something yeah, and too with that, like finding what works for you, because some people, you know, maybe yoga doesn't work for you, but it's something I enjoy. But finding, yeah, what's your me time or downtime that's going to help calm you. So yeah, I'll keep working on that. But it's definitely, I've become a lot more cognizant of that as well, which is really good. But yeah, I definitely, I've always known too, like gut healing takes time. It doesn't happen I mean, I think most things are, because I listen to a lot of podcasts and things too around gut healing, and you know, a lot of them actually say it takes years. And I'm actually quite amazed at even seeing, like you said, I probably thought I would even take longer, and I'm amazed at just the change I've seen, which is, you know, when you've been dealing with this for so long, it's a massive win. Like I remember just saying, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I'm not, you know, red raw and reacting in these ways. It's been a massive change. And so yeah, being realistic, I knew it was going to be yeah, you're in it for the long haul, but also I suppose where I'm at now, and we're really targeted in what we're hitting. I'm feeling like by Christmas I'll see some really big wins, but it's always going to be a constant journey. But it's also, like you said, working with you, knowing how to manage those flare-ups, because yes, I've got eczema, but it doesn't have to rule my life. It's going to be at a stage where actually I'm going to be able to manage it. And if I continue building in all the protocols that, you know, we've talked about, or just in, you know, maintaining that whole food gut healing lifestyle as well, there's no reason that I should be back where I was 3 years ago, because yeah, and when you see the change, there's no way I'll go back to that. It does make you really look back and go, wow, it's amazing what your system must have been doing back then, or what got you to that point. And yeah, it's just really fascinating. But no, I've seen, it's a massive change for me. So so yeah, no, it's really good.
That was, so what you said actually about the journey of seeing, so I never want to give people like false hope that, you know, you're going to have clear skin in 4 months, 6 months, but the key to understanding progression is reducing the flare cycle and how quick the wound healing process can come through. And for you, it would be a 2-week cycle. And sometimes you wouldn't even make it into the clear skin phase. And now, like you were saying, you had some curry, which has a lot of salicylates, which you'd be really reactive to. So you're able to bounce back quicker. So then it's not, okay, I have this flare up, my next 2 weeks are gone. So you're just like, okay, it's going to be gone by tomorrow, or it's going to go down. And that's just a really nice progression. And over time, as you continue doing the work hewing, as you know, that's going to reduce. And that's when you get to the point that you're at, seeing that your body has more skin resilience and you can bounce back quicker is just like, okay, this is working. and
it's even like even I suppose the look of your skin is starting to change too. Like even I notice that, like, yes, I've still got some dryness, but it's a different type of dryness. Like I can, and I mean, we also talk about in the program that dry is good, it's healing. Like, and as much as it sucks at the time when you're a bit dry, but it's definitely not at the point where I'm sure many people have experienced just the constant flaking, and you're just like, oh my gosh, how has all this skin come off? Like it's crazy how much can shed off you, but it's a really different. It's a really different, different dryness, and I can really see my skin's changed in appearance and just the cycle, like you said. Even now, because before we started the call, I said to Alicia that I had a curry last night, and I haven't eaten curry for a long time because spice sets me off, and I literally just had a few red patches this morning, whereas before I would have blown up all around my eyes and been dealing with it for a week, whereas it might just be a bit up today, but I'll be fine tomorrow. So it's very, very different. I suppose my cycles now are, like I said before, coming up for maybe a few hours and going down the next day. Most mornings I'm waking up and I've just got clear skin, or it might be a little bit blotchy. Okay. It's a huge win compared to when you were bright red.
Totally. And like, while it's great seeing your skin transform, obviously it's what we work on in the program, but the actual real outcome is how it changes your life. So now when having food anxiety, feeling anxious about having food, to now, okay, if I go out for the majority of the time, you know, I like eating this food. If I go out, then I don't have to be really stressed and I can enjoy myself. I don't always have to live in a bubble, or having that assurance as well. If I do get a flare, I know what to do and I know it's going to go down, and understanding why is really helpful too. And being able to get a social life back, being able to do what you want instead of always just being like, I have a flare up for 2 weeks, I can't go out and see anybody. So just having having your life back. That's right. It's huge. And I think I didn't realize probably how much anxiety I had about food until we really started to dig in, and it was like, okay. And I just remember bringing more food in and going, okay, it's okay to like bring it in. Like, you just didn't realize how nervous it made you feel, because exactly when I was struggling with a flare up for a week or two, it's like, who wants to do that? It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, Lauren. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate to many parts of that journey, and definitely given a lot of people hope. Are there any other last words of wisdom that you want to share, or anything else about your journey? Just that I would encourage people to trust the process, like I said before, and that really, like for me, I tried lots of different things, but I felt like Alicia's been able to find the key for me. Like you've been able to, tailor everything for what my body needs, and that's been the big game changer for me, that I know now I'm on the right path, and I can definitely see that healing journey happening. So
for anyone out there that's still dealing with eczema or looking for an answer, just don't give up. That's probably and I know it's the hardest thing, but there is an answer. And yeah, if you can, I would really encourage you to get involved with the program and connect with Alicia. So yeah. No problem.
Thank you for your beautiful words.
That's all
It's
right.
a pleasure working with you, Lauren.
You too. Great.
All right. So thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Okay, have a good weekend. And
Yeah.
for anybody else, if any of this did resonate with you and you're caught in that flare-up cycle, definitely let me know. And me or one of the girls can have a chat with you and get you started in the Love Your Skin Facebook group. There are so many free resources. Or if you are at that point, like Lauren was, at that stage of change, just determined and just ready to start the healing journey, you can drop "Let's chat" below and we can tee up a little phone call. So thank you so much, Lauren.
No problem. Thanks, Alicia.
All right.
Bye.